सम्बन्धको विकास त्यति बेला सम्भव हुन्छ जब हरेक आफ्नो र आफन्तहरूसँग निर्धक्क अनि खुलेर कुरा हुन्छ, चाहे त्यस्तो कुरा व्यक्तिगत होस् या व्यावसायिक हो। नेपाल टेलिकमको सर्र चल्ने वाइफाई, खर्र जाने बल्क एसएमएस, हुरहुरी चल्ने 4G इन्टरनेट, सलल जोडिने ती CUG नेटवर्क अनि आहा कति रमाइलो एनटिटिभी। बाँकी त सब मनको कुरा न हो।
नेपाल टेलिकम, राष्ट्रको सञ्चार।
Have you ever thought of selling online? Why not set up your own online store where nothing can stop you? Huge investment, product management, delivery management, everything is a myth. Dropshipping Nepal is real.
Hope International, your education consultant. Remember us for abroad study, IELTS and PTE classes.
अस्ट्रेलिया पढ्न जाने हैन त?
Choose Empire for your higher studies. Join National School of Film and Television. Admission open. Phone 0144888616. Mobile 9808558428.
If you too have a passion and vision to become a professional fashion designer, join IIFT today.
Thread garment. Order your choice.
The British Collage. More than a college.
हरेक तिथि, हरेक क्षण पञ्चाङ्ग र सूचनाको ताजा संस्करण नेपाली पात्रो विश्वसनीय एप आजै डाउनलोड गर्नुस् है।
Namaskaram, Sadhguru ji. Thank you so much.
Nepali superstar here in southern India, great.
Unfortunately, I'm sure you've not been following Nepali film or any other film for that matter.
I don't have the time to follow any
I think you
films.
watch English films or used to watch.
See,
English
at
films.
one time, I wouldn't miss a single Hollywood movie that came to India. That is a short period, a few years. After that, there's been no time. Maybe if at all, if I watch even now, it's an Hollywood movie, something.
Right.
I may watch once in 2 years or 3 years, I may watch one movie somewhere.
What kind of subject do you look for in a film when you watch?
I'm not a subject-oriented person.
Right.
If its film is well shot and well made,
Right.
for me, the technicalities, how it's made is more important. At one time, we really enjoyed all those westerns, Wild West movies because of the way, it was a whole new culture.
Right.
In many ways, I think if you have not watched because we read a lot of, Wild West
Clint
books.
Eastwood and
No,
John Wayne.
we read a lot of books.
Right.
And
Louis L'Amour.
Louis L'Amour.
Oh, right.
Louis L'Amour and Sutton and all those stuff. Because
Right.
of that, without exposure to that, I don't think you understand how United States is made. A lot of people think
Exposure to their Western…
to the Wild West movies.
Okay.
Because that mentality is still there everywhere, that culture is still there. If you just look at today's United States, you won't understand how that country is built and what is the ethos with which they speak even today.
Right.
They may not be cowboys anymore, but that fundamental culture is deeply ingrained in United States. Even in the international diplomacy, that culture is very much there.
It's still the Wild West way that they deal with the rest of the world. What about Tamil films? Tamil films are doing extremely well.
Yeah, but I don't get to watch Tamil movies at all.
Sadhguru, really, it's such an opportunity to be here, to be at your ashram, to look around, and this opportunity to have a conversation with you, because you have…
I've been coming to Nepal last 17 years every year.
I know, that's one of my main concern, because you have been to Nepal multiple times. So what draws you to Nepal?
Because you're a stepping stone for Kailash.
Okay.
But now, we are not going to Tibet, we are viewing Kailash from Limi Valley in Nepal itself, and the mountains of Nepal have captured me in many ways. And the people also, especially the mountain people, they've been so fantastic.
What about the region in connection with spirituality and…
Yes, see, this is a country that's built this way. That is, parts of Nepal have been made like a tantric body, that it is alive in certain ways. Unfortunately, not very well maintained, but compared to similar things in India, Nepal is little less disturbed.
What do you mean by not very well maintained?
Temples are not kept very well and alive. And these systems have not been understood. See, this has happened here also. For example, in South India, we have 5-element temples. For 5 elements, the whole region they built so that the entire region benefits from this, having mastery over the elements, the 5 elements of earth, fire, water, air and space. But now all these temples are managed separately, they're not connected. This is like your father had a Rolls Royce and he had 5 sons. When the division came, everybody took one wheel and you got the steering wheel. What do you do with this? Unfortunately, it's become like that. In Nepal, it's little better, I would say. It's little more alive. Here, it's become very dissipated. But individual things, new things have come up, various things. But the importance of Nepal is that it's a spiritual culture, deeply devotional culture, which if we lose after that, there's really no value, if you really look at it. And I don't know, every time I've been there, I've visited Bhaktapur, but my fascination for Bhaktapur is not gone.
All right. You also have visited Pashupati, I think,
yes, I have.
Times.
I don't go to Pashupati every time I come because I'm not looking for divine blessings. If I close my eyes, I'm fine, you know. Okay. I'm looking for spiritually alive places which would be useful for people because a lot of people come with me. So Bhaktapur, Lalitpur, the Patron area, this has been very attractive. Pashupatinath is fine, but
enlighten me, Sadhguruji, what do you mean by spiritually alive?
I don't know if you felt anything this morning you've been walking through. If you stand outside the premises and inside the premises, there's a difference in the way your very body responds because energetically it's been organized that way. So that is the essence of all this. These are cultures where we mastered the art of God-making. This culture, Nepal, India, Sri Lanka, we don't have the God up there. We have the ability to create gods.
Okay. We don't have the God and we don't have the book as well,
no.
I guess, yeah.
I mean, the book only comes if you believe in the God.
Right.
So, we made the gods, we know that, but we made these deities in such a way that they are powerful tools. Even in Nepal, in some parts it's there, but maybe largely lost. In southern India, we still refer to our deities as yantras. The word yantra means a machine.
Right.
So, these are energetic machines that we created. Why do we create machines, first of all? See, for example, we have right now a microphone because we can talk. We already can speak. That's why a microphone, a telephone, because we can see. We have a microscope, a telescope, because we can walk, we came up with a bicycle, a motorcycle and every other form of transport.
Right.
If we were made like trees, rooted into the land, would we have come up with a bicycle? It would be meaningless. So every machine that we have created is only enhancement of the faculties that we already have. So in the same sense, we created energetic machines which are not physical in nature, where to enhance our ability. So, to give a context to this, you must have heard of Ramanujam from Tamil Nadu, who was a great mathematician.
Right.
They took him to Oxford because they couldn't believe what this man was writing. He was just pouring out mathematics. What he did in early 20th century in the name of math, just poured out books and books of mathematics. If he just sits, largely he sat on his bed and wrote mathematics like this because he was, infected with tuberculosis and he was dying, he just poured it out. People asked, where is this coming from? He said, my Devi bleeds mathematics. So he was a worshipper of Devi, she's mathematics. So everything… So what it is you can use these deities to open a window into existence in terms of experience and knowing. Well, I'm a living example, I'm not educated on anything. Everybody's inviting, I never went to a…
But you're knowledgeable.
That's what they think.
So what's the difference between…
See, there is a difference between finding access to something and accumulating something. I have access to many things, I have not accumulated any knowledge. That's why when I walk on the street, I walk empty-headed completely. I don't have the burden of knowledge, I have not become like a intellectual because
But then because…
I don't carry it in my head.
of the fact that you have accumulated so many things, you become an educator in a sense. People get educated by you.
Because of access.
The accumulation of knowledge and whatever that you have.
Because of access.
Access to you?
No, access to knowledge. See, right now we are talking about soil all over the world. Everybody thinks I'm a soil scientist. I'm not a soil scientist, I'm like a worm.
Right.
A worm knows everything you need to know about soil because its life depends on it. He has access. He has no knowledge, he has no library, he has no research, just the way he lives. So, finding access to life is different from accumulating information about life. Accumulated knowledge is useful in a university, not of much value in the universe.
But aren't academicians learn what is in somebody's knowledge?
See, I'm not against any system of learning process, but if you have a lot of time, when I say a lot of time, even if you live very healthy, on this planet they give you 100 years. In that 15, 20, 25 years go in something. So you have effectively 60, 70 years of living. In this, if you have a lot of time, only miserable people have a lot of time. If you're very joyful, you have very little time.
Right.
Life gets over too soon.
Right.
But if you have a lot of time, then you can spend time doing academics, accumulation of knowledge, accumulation of things, accumulation of whatever.
But some people might enjoy that. It might be their passion.
They do, because they're trying to enhance their life by accumulation. Your accumulations do not, either it's of money or wealth or things or relationships or even knowledge, does not enhance your life in its fundamental way.
Right.
It only enhances your life in a social context.
Right.
I must tell you this. Just 5 months ago, before I started the journey, I was in United States. And here there's a young guy who's running around like his tail is on fire. I say, hey, what's the matter with you? He says, Sadhguru, I want to earn $1 billion, $1 billion. I said, you do one thing, come tomorrow morning, I'll give you $1 billion. He said, really? I said, yes, you just come tomorrow morning, I'll give you $1 billion. Then he had, like you, he came with eight of his friends.
Right.
So I said, see, but these 8 people, I'm going to give all of them $10 billion each. He said, Sadhguru, why? You're giving me only $10 billion. I said, your life's ambition was only one just now.
Right.
Suddenly you're worried that they're getting $10 billion because your $1 billion is valuable only because most people don't have it.
Right, exactly.
So you're enjoying what other people don't have.
So are you saying basically that we are living our life for other people rather than for ourselves?
The thing is, people are enjoying other people's failures. Right from your childhood, in your kindergarten itself, your mother or father tells you, you must be number 1.
Right.
She never asked, what is happening with other children, are they doing well? No. Are you number 1? That means is everybody less than you, that's all the problem is. This is not joy, this is sickness. I enjoy that you have not eaten today, but I have eaten. What is this? This is sickness. But this sickness we are projecting as joy and happiness, so there is no limit to human suffering, endlessly it goes on. So, what you accumulate enhances you only in a social context.
Not for yourself?
Not in a life context, no. Suppose you have let's say you have $1 trillion.
You have everything and no people around.
Yeah, what do you do?
To show off to.
Yes, but see, whether you're rich or poor, you do not know if you are the only person on this planet, all right? Whether you are knowledgeable or not, you do not know if you are the only person on this
Correct.
planet. But you always know whether you are joyful or miserable, even if you're the only person on this planet.
But the human race today, tags importance to winning. They say winning is very important no matter, whatever…
That means somebody should be losing.
Whatever
then
you're
you
doing.
should do one thing. You go and play cricket with the kindergarten children, you will
Right.
win and win and win. Great.
Mm-hmm.
You just choose such an opponent. You'll always be winning.
No, but people are also passionate about winning someone who is expert in that field.
Yeah, but little less than them.
Their target is always to be above the person who is the best.
I know that. They would like to climb Mount Everest, not a local hill.
Right. Okay. People always do that. Like if a person has climbed Mount Everest, then the person says, "Okay, I
I've
want
met people who have
to
climbed Mount
climb
Everest.
several mountains."
I've met a lot of people who climbed mountains. Mount Everest, I'm saying.
Right.
They said, "Sadhguru, I was there for about 12 seconds. I put the flag and I came down. Now I don't know why I did it. When I come for trekking in Nepal, the guy who carries my bag, he's climbed Everest 8 times. 8 times. I said, I have to bow down to you, but you're carrying my bag. So what is there climbing Mount Everest? I can climb any number of times.
Don't people need a sense of achievement just to
See,
be satisfied with what they have achieved or what they have
see,
done?
all these things are
Because
happening.
basically nothing is permanent. Nothing is
All
permanent.
these things are happening in pursuit of one's happiness, isn't it? I'm saying, why are you pursuing something that has to happen within you? Where are you trying to get it from? If you're joyful by your own nature, you don't have to prove you're better than anybody else, you're fine the way you are.
So in this materialistic world with a concept of wanting to win all the time, wanting to achieve all the time and not going internally, are we a confused lot?
Oh, we're pretty screwed up, not confused.
So where do you see the humanity going? In which direction?
Oh, we're trying to wake them up.
Okay.
See, you said even in Nepal, I have following because everywhere in the world, youth have taken this up because they suddenly understand this makes sense.
But you're advocating people not to be educated.
I'm not saying that.
Okay.
I'm saying education will not enhance you. If you have a passion about a certain subject, you educate yourself, not to prove I got this degree, that degree. What does it mean? You're adding alphabets to your name?
What about gaining expertise in certain fields?
See, expertise, that's what I said.
Having
If you
your
have
skill.
passion for some subject,
Right.
go wherever the hell you have to go to get it. Whether it's in a Gurukul or in a university or in some other country, go wherever it is available because you have passion for that. But right now you're going there to get a few alphabets attached to your name because somebody else has less number of alphabets.
Right. But they say you need a purpose in life, In order to have a purpose in life, you probably have to pursue…
Tell me, what is the
one
purpose
passion
of
or
these
the other.
mountains?
Well, the purpose of this mountain is…
To make your life difficult. If it was flat, you could have easily walked.
Yeah, but then probably has its own charm and own contribution to the nature and the ecology, which makes people's life a little bit more comfortable if they
That you're
realize.
saying, the mountain never said such a thing.
Uh,
It's just there.
yeah,
And it's
but
fine being there.
we are a realizing being, so maybe we realize that the mountain has contributed to us a lot without mountain actually knowing that. So,
See, when… there have been moments in your life when you're very happy, very joyful, huh?
right.
Those moments, do you think what is the purpose of life? Only in some way, when life becomes burdensome, you try to find a purpose.
But maybe when you fulfill your purpose, you become joyful. So the joyness is the result of your fulfillment of your purpose. No?
No. See,
Like when
when you were a child,
when I started off a film, my purpose was that my first film should be received well. So I went ahead with that purpose. And when that film was received well, I was joyful.
yes, that's fine. But the next film bombs in the in the thing, then you will be miserable, right?
Probably, I would probably pursue harder.
That is fine.
To-
I'm not against your pursuit.
Okay.
You went back to your first film, let's go further back. When you were 5 years of age, when you had no achievements of any kind, you were more joyful generally, isn't it? In 24 hours, you knew more moments of joy than you know today.
That's true. I mean, ignorance is probably a bliss.
No, it's not because of ignorance. You are closer to life then. Now you have misunderstood your psychological process as existential. At that time, your psychological
But do you
process
think
was not
in
significant.
today's world that a human being can exist by just not
You are saying I'm not human?
thinking about your
Are
existential?
are you saying… are you making a statement that I'm not human?
You're a special human. You're
No.
special, and everybody
No,
doesn't
no.
have that kind of an opportunity.
See, this is the whole thing. People always think, I keep repeating this to everybody, see, yoga is not about becoming superhuman. It's about realizing being human is super. Now, instead of realizing this, you're trying to do something to make human into a superhuman being. You act, somebody jumps off something, somebody wants money, somebody wants fame, somebody wants power. They are trying to make themselves into something. No, as you are as a human being, if you realize the full potential of what this is made of, it's fantastic, you're joyful. Now, if you want to do something, you do it. What will you do? If you are joyful, what would you do? You would do what is needed. Otherwise, in pursuit of happiness, you're doing all kinds of crazy things. People are doing every kind of madness on the planet in pursuit of their happiness, isn't it? But I'm asking you, whether it's joy or misery, it can only happen from within you, isn't it? What happens from within you, the only choice that you have is, I don't know, I know in say 70s, you guys in Nepal were not driving Indian cars, you were driving Datsuns.
Right.
Datsuns and
Toyotas and…
not even Toyota, Datsun,
Yeah.
Daihatsu and
Right,
Datsun and
right.
stuff. But even those Datsuns, even today some of them are running. So in Nepal, they would park it on the slope in the night, overnight, because morning they won't start. You need two people to push them. They're push-start. But today all cars are self-start, isn't it?
Right.
Now I'm asking you, your joy, your peacefulness, your loving nature, all the wonderful things that can happen in a human being, should it be on a push-start or should it be on a self-start? I'm talking about upgrading technologies.
Right.
What should it be?
Well, I think it's all about the call of the period, of the time.
No. Those things are external. I'm saying your joy, should it be on self-start or push-start?
I think I would be more happy if my car starts on a self-start.
Yes. So if it's on self-start, you are not in pursuit of happiness. You are joyful by your own nature. Now what would you do? You will do what is needed most, isn't it? Or you would do something that fascinates you. You would not do something in pursuit of happiness. So if you are in a acting career, you would want to excel in that. It doesn't matter whether it does well, whether people appreciate, don't appreciate. Half the things I do, nobody even understands what I'm doing. Forget about appreciation.
Yeah, but Guruji, like a whole lot of people, they're not only people who are pursuing power and lots of money. There are a whole lot of people who are facing survival challenges on a day-to-day basis, just to feed them, just to look after them.
See,
So
physical survival
how
is
do
a
you
different…
address their situation?
No.
How do you tell them to go internal?
No, even for them, to become more competent to handle their physical survival, they must turn inward. Because this is an empowerment, this is not a distraction.
But do you think they would have the time and the thought? Would they
Everybody
have-
has, but I wouldn't talk to them about turning inward.
Because they would be engaged so much on
No,
just
no.
feeding
I'll come to
themselves
that.
and their family and educating their this. That itself probably would be
See-
keeping them in a meditative mode.
No. No.
Just to acquire things for themselves and for their family, the basic things, not even the luxurious things.
Shall I say something?
Sure.
See, when a man is hungry, it would be obscene to tell him to meditate.
Exactly.
I will never do that.
Yeah.
But why is a man hungry? When every insect, worm, creatures which have a millionth of your brain are able to take care of their survival, why is a human being with such a big brain not able to take care of that? Simply because he doesn't want to just survive, he wants to survive better than somebody else. The whole problem is, I don't want to just live, I want to live better than you. This is a problem and it'll never be solved, because if you improve, I get distressed.
But don't you think, Sadhguru, there are a whole lot of people who just want to live?
You believe that?
Well, there are a lot of…
They say that
whole lot
in the
of
beginning.
humanity, there are a lot of humanity.
When there is no bread to eat…
Especially in this part of the world.
No. When there is no bread to eat, they say that. The moment they have bread,
they want
to have more butter than your neighbor. If they have butter, they want a good house. If the neighbor builds a bigger house, they want a much bigger house.
Is ambition wrong?
It is not ambition. See, it is not about ambition. It is just that you have invested yourself in such a way that there is no experience of your life. You are only experiencing your thought and emotion as life. Your physiological process and your psychological process has become everything. There is no other experience. When I say no other experience, is it true that you were not born like this, you slowly gathered this body?
Right.
Yes?
Yeah, over the time. Yeah.
Yes. Whatever you call as your mind right now, this also you gathered over a period of time?
Accumulation of my
Yes,
experiences.
this is accumulation of food, that is
memories.
accumulation of impressions and experiences. What you accumulate can be yours, but can never ever be you, isn't it?
But can humanity…
No, just answer this one question.
Can humanity run away
we'll go
from
there,
that?
we will go there.
Oh.
Answer this one question. Whatever you accumulate, it can be yours, but it can never ever be you, isn't it?
That's true.
Yes. So what you call as my body, what you call as my mind are yours, they are not you. So that what is life has never come into experience. You're just experiencing these two heaps of food and impressions. So you've taken your physiological and especially your psychological process too seriously. You don't understand, you are generating your thought and emotion.
Does it mean that you are not connected with your mind?
No. It is your mind.
Right.
So obviously you're connected.
Right.
But you don't experience this as my mind, you are experiencing it as yourself. Your thought and emotion is not yours, it has become you.
That is probably one of the reasons why people say control yourself or control your mind.
No, why should you control yourself? I would never say control yourself.
Or control your mind, meaning
No.
that you are
No.
a different entity from your mind.
You don't have to control your mind, you need to liberate your mind. Why should you control your mind?
Do you not need to channelize it in a right way?
See, if you are free, will you go the direction that you want to go in, or you'll go all over the place?
Yeah, but sometimes absolute freedom can be dangerous, no?
Oh.
Like for example, Guruji, I'm free to sort of right now to lie on the floor. I have that freedom right now to
fly.
topple this
To
glass. I cannot fly, but I wouldn't do it. I would constrain that because
Why?
there's…
See, why
Because
would
every
you…
setup requires a certain decorum.
See, I want to knock down.
And people have to sort of like self-censor them in many ways.
No. It's a very wrong idea.
So I feel that, I kind of feel that people are not being able to exercise the full potential of their freedom because they need to put self-censorship in them.
See, nobody is going to be free. Nobody is going to be free in any real sense unless they're absolutely responsible for themselves. If you see, I'm absolutely responsible for the very way I think, feel and act, will you go and knock this out simply for fun?
No, but I'm free to do that.
You're free to do that.
Yeah.
But you
But I wouldn't do it.
You don't have such an urge.
Exactly.
So you have such an urge and you're controlling it.
So I will not be able to exercise my freedom to the full
No.
potential.
No. You have an urge to knock down a simple glass which is sitting there and you control it, that is one state. Another is you have no such need, is another way. Which is better?
Maybe there is the need in that moment, you know, I just want to see the water
Okay,
spill.
knock it down, let's see. You won't have water to drink. I'll give you one next glass of water.
No, what I'm basically trying to say, Sadhguruji, is that
No,
you know,
I understand what you're
human
saying.
being is born so free that it needs to be restrained
No.
in certain ways.
Human being is not born free, let me say this. See, there is a certain level of freedom in the human being. This freedom comes from this. Every other creature on the planet, the numbers are just, you know, off the cuff. 90% of their life is determined by nature for all other creatures. Only 10% they have a latitude to have their own persona. If you take two tigers, 10% difference, 90% it's all fixed. If they eat well, they are good tigers.
Right.
But with a human being,
Exactly.
only 10% is fixed by nature, 90% is left in your hands. So right now what human beings are suffering is their freedom. It is not…
Maybe not just your hand, maybe the hands of the society or the people around you, because
They're becoming
right
free.
after you are born, your parents start to restrict you, they try to mold you in a certain way. Then your school
But still
starts
you have
modeling.
brains, right?
Then you have religion. Then you
No,
have traditions.
There are pandits,
then you have
there are
cultures.
priests, there are mullahs, there are parents,
Right.
there are all kinds of people.
Right.
But you still had brains. The choice to use that was yours. You could not use it because you were not free.
But then a person becomes a slave of its upbringing and its
See,
education
that is the whole thing.
and the habits
Every other creature
that the person has
adapts.
formed.
Every other creature adapts and is shaped by the circumstances.
Right.
But what human being means is, we create the circumstances ourselves. That's why we are able to build a whole new atmosphere. But unfortunately, instead of doing it consciously, we are doing it compulsively. This is why I said, Bhaktapur draws me again and again, because in my perception, this is a kind of space people created consciously as to how people should live. What would make a human being beautiful? Consciously created spaces. This space, what you walk through…
Does not that make us a trained creature?
No, I'll come to this. Right now, this space is created here at the yoga center so that people become more and more conscious. Simple things. Lot of people complain, this is not one-time complaint, repeatedly they will come back to me every 2-3 years, a new set of people come back, say, Sadhguru, yesterday one person fell down because of the uneven floor, shall we put proper, you know, paver blocks and make it really flat?
Right.
I say, no, it's going to… always I'm going to write it in the constitution of this organization, the floors here will be always uneven, because I want people to walk consciously. They shouldn't walk like they're some robos, all right? Or even a robo learns to walk on uneven surfaces. So this is just one example. There are many things in the structure of the place that if you're not conscious, you will walk into a pillar or a post. It's made like that intentionally. This is very important because human being means, see, we don't call any other creature a being. You don't call the parrots which are screaming there as parrot beings, elephants as elephant beings or anything else as beings. Only this one is a human being. What it means is, you know how to be. If you know how to be, do I have to control you and say, don't knock down this glass? Would it be needed? I'm asking. Thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that. Would that be needed for you? If you were conscious and you know how to be?
But unlike animal species who are they behave in a uniform way, human beings, because of their mind, and the mind comes in all kinds of sizes and,
as I said
and
earlier,
capacity. Your mind is different from my mind, so you have a different capacity to myself. Don't we think
see,
that…
that is a consequence, but the real thing is this, because as I said earlier, human being is coming into this world unformed.
Yeah.
You can either mold yourself the way you want, or society and other people will mold you. Some people will mold you with love, some people will mold you with greed, some people will mold you with their own intent of various things. So in society, so many people are molding you. If you allow all of them to mold you, you will become a misshapen something.
But we also come with unequal distribution of intellect. So that way we cannot operate in a uniform manner. Every individual has to be taken in a different
When it
case.
comes to competence, it may be different levels of competence.
Because as a human being, as a species, we're same, but we have different powers for thinking, different kind of skills, different kind of talents. Some people can run extremely fast, other people can't. Some people will trip and yet not fall. Other people will just, smash their face once they fall. So we come, different with different capacity, and because we have the intellect and mind, and our intellect and mind is distributed so unevenly, we probably have to deal with human on an individual basis.
No. Yes, we have to, but I'm telling you this, the reason why it's like this is, we are born unformed. Other creatures are born largely formed, little bit of formation needs to happen for them. But human beings are 90% unformed. So how you will get formed depends on what kind of situations and places you were in. But at the same time, because you are a human being, if you know how to be, you will craft yourself whichever way you want. Or you don't have to craft yourself anyway. As there are situations, you can respond to it and be that way.
Right.
So the problem right now is, see, you are acting in a movie. So people will say you're an actor. They're identifying you and defining you with the actions that you perform. I'm teaching yoga, they say he's a yoga teacher. I go and hit a ball, they say he's a golfer. I ride a motorcycle, they say he's a motorcyclist. I fly an airplane, they say he's a aviator. You are trying to define human beings with the actions that they perform. Actions that we perform are in one way accumulations of life, all right? You do a certain number of films, so you're an actor.
Wouldn't you call that skill? Different skills of different human beings?
Yeah, I'm saying you're restricting and destroying the genius of a human being simply by identifying one with a certain act. If you do not define, because human is a possibility, the moment you give a definition to that, you have destroyed that possibility. This is what yoga means.
Would you say the entire human is a possibility, or certain humans have certain possibilities?
No. Every human is a
different
possibility.
Human being has different possibilities.
Every human is a possibility.
Like one can be an Einstein and another one can be a cycle mechanic.
See…
and their possibilities probably would be different.
If you're riding a bicycle, a cycle mechanic is more meaningful than an Einstein. What is Einstein good for you?
No, what I'm saying is, they have their own contribution to the society.
Yes, that is true. See, I'm not questioning that, but I'm saying the important thing is, there are two aspects of life: pleasantness of your experience and profoundness of your experience and impactfulness of what you do in the world. These are the three things. There's nothing else to your life. How pleasant you are, how profound is your experience, how impactful is your life in the world.
But does not that differ from person to person?
I'll come to that.
Culture to culture?
I'll come to that. When it comes to impactfulness in the world, it depends on the times in which we are born, where we are born, how we are. I see, I'm in the Nepali mountains, the young boys there who've not seen school in their life, fantastic guys. Somewhere else they could be great athletes because they're running up and down the mountain like crazy, okay?
Exactly.
But it never occurred to them they should go and run on a track or jump on a long jump or high jump stuff. It never occurred to them. Does it make them anything less? No. What defines their life is pleasantness and profoundness of their experience. So, do you see that you could be living in a remote mountain village, not having met anybody from outside, and still your life can be pleasant and profound? Maybe not impactful in the world, but that impactfulness…
Don't you think so? I mean, human beings also like to organize things so that people can display their skills. Like a sportive event, for example. A person who's running in the field in the forest of Kenya have known to have won a marathon race.
Yes.
Because the human intellect have organized things in order for human beings to display their skills in different forms, whether it be sports, whether it be music…
I know that, but what
whether it be science. So people could be born with that skill and intellect, and then the larger group of people will organize things for people to come and display that.
What you're saying
and to learn from one another.
If I was born here 10,000 years ago and I did not know what is Olympics, I had no capability to run and jump and leap.
No, but we are all product of our time.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Product of our times means we are being crafted by the society in which we live. Or as I said earlier, If your life's experience is pleasant and profound, you will do whatever best you can do in the time that you are, in the society where you are. That's how life should be. But right now, you're in pursuit of your happiness. If you don't win the medal, you're a miserable runner.
Is it that black and white?
Tell me, isn't it true? Whatever people think must happen, if it doesn't
Because
happen…
a lot of people also drive satisfaction from participation or being able to do what they are skilled of doing, getting the opportunity. You know, a lot of people derive satisfaction from those kind of things as well.
See, that is getting philosophical after you have lost.
But isn't spirituality all about philosophy?
No. This is a wrong conclusion you made about me.
But genuinely, a lot of people are… I have met a lot of people who are just satisfied.
That is the whole thing that needs to be corrected in the world.
Right.
Right now, you made spirituality like it's something that you do on your deathbed. Spirituality is the greatest empowerment that you can have. It must be the first thing that happens to you in your life, not the last thing. In the last 2-3 centuries, we have projected spiritual process as something that you do on your deathbed when you are no good at anything else. When you can't do anything else, then you become spiritual. No. Spiritual process in this culture, always people were initiated, both boys and girls were initiated at the age of 12. Because before you enter life, you must be spiritual because it takes away the definition of who you are. You don't define your boundaries anymore, because by body and by mind, there are boundaries, isn't it?
But Guruji, what do you say to people who pursue their passion with utmost focus, dedication, with discipline? Isn't that some form of spirituality as well? When they are passionate about pursuing something.
The question is not about what you're doing, this is what I'm saying, your actions don't define the quality of your life.
No, what I mean to say is if a
Your
person…
actions will define the quality of your life only in the outer world, in the society. Your actions do not define. Somebody may be doing something spectacular and miserable. Somebody may be doing something simple but very pleasant and very profound in their experience. So your actions do not define, it's the way you experience things. So if that is taken care of, then your ability to function in the world can be greatly enhanced.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people, for example, who are musicians, who create music for their own self-satisfaction, people who are great painters. They start their first step of painting in order to satisfy themselves. It's a totally different thing that once they create a great piece of art, then other people start appreciating.
No, if nobody appreciates, then…
But I think the first step starts from, especially when people are following passion, first step starts from because there's the need, there's the desire for them to fulfill their passion.
I want you to understand, see what they enjoy, what a painter enjoys is not his painting. What he enjoys is because he's capable of a certain focus, he's able to see things so minutely and transfer that onto the canvas. That process of focus is immensely enjoyable, whether you're hitting a ball or painting a picture or playing music. The important thing is the level of attention. The moment your attention is at a certain level, keenness beyond what is normally needed, even if you're driving, if you're driving slow, you may be somehow just looking here and there. But if you drive at a certain speed, then you have a focus which you cannot afford to lose. That focus, that level of attention elevates your life, lifts you up. So, how they found it, whether they found it by painting or music or acting or singing or simply sitting here…
No, what I was getting at is like, suppose you have two singers, they perform in the audience. One singer really gets accepted and becomes a commercial hit. Therefore, he starts churning out music for the other people, for the audience, like you said. The other person does not get the commercial hit, but yet also is very passionate about singing. But just because he's not been accepted by people and doesn't have a commercial value, will that stop him from exercising his passion in privacy?
Should not.
Yes. So he will probably be singing for his own satisfaction.
You're certainly speaking for me.
Exactly. For their own satisfaction.
No, what I'm saying is…
Will it be possible for you to sort of like, just a hypothetical question, Guruji, to discard all this and just to live a life in isolation with you and your thoughts and your
If I'm in
knowledge?
isolation, I have no thoughts, I want you to know. If I close my doors, if I'm out for 5 days, I don't have a single thought in my mind. Nor do I do anything. I don't read, I don't listen to music, I don't look out of the window, nothing. Because the life process is much, much, much larger than the psychological process. Your thought and emotion are petty things that you're creating. The life that's happening within you is a phenomena. If you pay enough attention, you will know everything that's worth knowing in the universe.
Are you not
Because
concerned of what other people think of you, what kind of impressions they would have of you?
if I was, would I live like this? Do you know how much abuse every day I have from people?
So you're kind of indifferent to both, the adulation and the abuse and…
Because my life is not defined by what anybody says or anybody thinks. I'm very crystal clear.
But you are a special human being.
No, I'm not. That's what I want to tell you. Every human being, he can be super, but they're looking to be superhuman being. No, being human is super. Every creature, grasshopper is super by itself, and it knows that it's quite great. It is not trying to jump more than the other grasshopper. It is just…
Do you really feel, Guruji, that we're all born equal?
Not at all. That is the best thing
No,
about us.
we're not born equal.
See, why are you thinking
We come up with different
No, no.
intellects, we come up
If
with
you…
different body size,
No. If you
different
understand…
capacity,
No.
capability.
If you understand equality as sameness, we are not same at all, and I'm glad we are not same.
Some people are born to be short, some people are born to be tall, some people are born to be what you may call with great features, some people are born with not so great features. And whatever they are, this inequality that they have when they are at birth probably determines where they're going to be in the life cycle of life.
See, you're mixing up social situation and inner situation. These are two different… This is the whole problem. The moment you misunderstand external social situation and the inner situation, the moment you misunderstand your psychological reality and your existential reality, then there is a big confusion. Let me define this. There is an external situation which is the world. Here, if you want to do anything, you need the cooperation of all these people. Okay, we are having this conversation, these guys are supposed to capture it and put it out there for the people, whatever. Suppose they bombed it. What is the conversation? It's nothing, all right? It's just between you and me, it's fine.
But
So I'm
cooperation
saying…
means depending on people, relying on
Yes,
people.
I'm saying it's not only cooperation, you need the cooperation of many forces, not only people, right now. Anything that you need to do in the world, your impact in the
Exactly.
world is determined by the times in which you exist, the forces that are functional at that time, the people, and whatever else may be happening, political, social and various
Yeah.
things. So that is a given, okay? But your ability to be joyful and peaceful is yours. To keep your body pleasant, mind pleasant, emotions pleasant and your energies pleasant is 100% your business. But to keep the atmosphere pleasant is not entirely yours. It's a lot of skill and lot of work because anybody can turn it upside down.
But how is it possible to keep yourself joyful, blessed and calm when we have…
If outside is in turmoil,
when we have so much of thoughts bombarding us all the time and we don't know
whose
which
thoughts are
thoughts to
bombarding
follow.
you?
I think most human beings…
Whose thoughts are bombarding
No,
you?
as a human being…
Your own thoughts, right?
No, as a human being, when…
No, don't say people…
It's a different thing whether we want to direct it by those thoughts or not.
Do not define the human being as somebody who is
but-
out of control in his head.
Is it in our control of stopping the kind of thoughts that comes into your head?
They don't come, you create them. Are thoughts coming to you from somewhere or you're making them up?
It's probably due to with your environment, your living, your interactions.
See, your thoughts are a
And
consequence…
they create all kind of involuntary
Your thoughts are a
thoughts in your mind,
consequence of the data that you have already
which you
gathered.
necessarily don't want to be directed by, but nevertheless they come in. Nevertheless, it's just like
No.
probably your computer where all the junk mail comes in, but that doesn't necessarily draw your attention. But nevertheless, all kind of information does come in.
See,
So isn't our mind something
No.
like that?
your mind is full of things that you have absorbed through the five senses. What you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste and what you touch. These are the only 5 feeds for your mind. Everything that you have seen, even things that you're not conscious of, are there recorded in the memory. If you walk from here to there may be 10 different smells in this room. You're not conscious of it. You will become conscious only if they become acute, but they're all recorded in your mind. That's how memory is. So it is from that data you're generating thoughts. Now, there is one way, either you are totally identified with your thought process, you're stuck in it, or you can keep your thoughts little easy, you can carry them little loose. You understand they are yours, but they are not you. You can deal with it whichever way you want. So the question is just this: are you living in the trap of your own body and mind, or are you using your body and mind as stepping stones for a greater possibility? That is the choice that a human being has. Whether an individual human being exercises that choice or not is unfortunate reality.
How's it possible to make that choice?
We can help you.
Because thoughts coming in is inevitable. The only thing left is to channelize them and to know by which thoughts to be directed and which thoughts to be deleted.
You are believing in philosophies which have never worked for anybody. It's not worked for anybody, channelizing thoughts. You do one thing, don't think of monkeys for the next 10 seconds.
All right. You've instilled that thought into my head.
Only monkeys will happen. So, it has not worked for a single person, but this kind of dumb things are going on in the society all the time. That's not the way. There is a way. If you understand the mechanics of your mind, there is a way to be beyond that. If you understand the mechanics of your body, there is a way to be beyond that.
But is it possible for a normal human being to…
You're saying I'm
discern
abnormal?
that part?
Are you saying I'm abnormal?
Well, you're abnormal in certain
No.
ways. In certain ways.
Just because I didn't shave, you're saying I'm abnormal?
No, not only because of that.
I'm not abnormal. What I'm doing here in this world is to show people what you think is superhuman being is just human. You just become a constipated human being because of your silly ideas, thoughts, philosophies, ideologies, religions. You made yourself into a constipated human being. If you are not constipated in your experience, every human being has something fantastic to offer to the world and for themselves above all. What you want to do with the world is a choice. But when it comes to yourself, if there is a choice between you being blissed out or being miserable, what's your choice?
Oh, I want to be blissed.
Yes.
Blissful.
So when that is the choice, what is the problem? Why is it not happening? Obviously, you have not understood the mechanics of your own mind and body, isn't it? This is why inner engineering, to engineer yourself in such a way that you are the way you want yourself to be. You don't have to be the way I want you to be. You must be the way you want to be. As you already said, you would like to be blissed out. Why is such a thing not happening?
But I might be blissful for a totally different reason than…
There are no reasons.
than your reason.
No, there are no reasons. This is what I'm… No, you still…
For example, if I enjoy alcohol, I might be blissed by just consuming a lot of alcohol.
Then next day you'll get a hangover.
But that's wrong, exactly.
See, that is exactly what I'm telling you. You're misunderstanding what is internal and what is external, what is psychological and what is existential. If I teach you a simple way with which your very chemistry is blissed out simply for no reason, would you stay blissed out? Then you must come. We will teach you a simple process with which your very chemistry is bliss always. Now, if you're blissed out, are you always concerned what happens outside? No, what is needed you will do. Some things happen, some things don't happen, what is the big deal about that? Because anyway you're blissed out. If you're miserable and every action should be successful, otherwise you're going to be further miserable.
Is it possible to carry on living in today's world with that kind of condition?
Where do you think I'm living in? 10,000 years ago?
No, but you lead a special life, Guruji, whether you accept it or not.
See, today it may look, because of all the things around and people around, it may look special. But I started like everybody else. Everybody thought I was a nutcase because a successful business, I just wound it down, just gave it away as it was, and I went into this full on. Everybody thought he's lost his mind. Something so successful at an early age, he's just throwing it away. They thought like this, and my father was up in arms that he's throwing away successful business. Well, people's idea of anything is, 10 people should recognize them.
But don't you think, Guruji…
Suppose I sat under a tree and still in the same condition, maybe many people wouldn't appreciate it, but for me it would be the same, because I'm anyway sitting under a tree, nobody knows me in the world, I'm blissed out. Now people know me. If it is helping them to be blissed out, it's fine, otherwise that's their choice, but I'm anyway blissed out. Because I'm blissed out, my actions are not determined by anything that people say or do, recognition, no, it doesn't matter, because anyway I'm blissed out, I got nothing to lose. What I can do, I will do. The day I decide to stop, I'll stop.
But don't you think, I mean, whatever you have become because you have, or you had a mind that was a little different and extraordinary from the rest of us? So don't you give due respect to
that is a very fatalistic way of looking.
Your mind?
Well, one thing I saw in Nepal, and I want to change this in Nepal, is where everybody wants to know their future. What is my kundali saying? What is my star saying? What are the planets saying?
But are we not all afraid of our future?
See, this is what it means to be human. If you want to be afraid of your future, you shouldn't have come as a human being. To be human means you can craft.
No, but accepting is one thing and reality is a different thing. And reality affects your mind and your emotion, but acceptance is a different thing.
The reality is that both you and me are, both in terms of time and space, occupy just a blimp of space in this cosmos. So, what is all this concern? For all you know, tomorrow morning you or me will be dead and it's gone, it's over, all right? It won't matter. So in terms of time and space, what you occupy is so minuscule, but so many concerns. This is simply because we don't know the context of our life, how brief and how insignificant it is. Because we are looking at everything in a social context, we are lost in these things. Existentially, what are we in this universe? Not even an ant, isn't it?
True, but we do have our own place, I suppose.
You can take any place you want within yourself.
Yeah. No, it's true that we come here with a fixed tenure, but isn't life all about making the best out of it while we're here?
Of course. What is best? Which is best? You being blissed out is best, or you being miserable is best?
Well, the best probably differs from person to person,
No, I'm
culture
asking
to culture.
Is it you being blissed out is best, or being miserable is best?
No, we all pursue to be blissful.
Yes. If you're blissed out, you are in the best possible place within yourself. In the world, what place you find depends on the times, depends on the situations. Even in this 21st century, somebody is born in a remote part of Africa, somebody is born in Europe or United States.
Exactly.
Life is different, all right? Even in 21st century, it is true. So, that is determined by many things. But if you are blissed out, you are in the Horn of Africa, does it matter to you?
Yeah, but the source of their blissfulness might be different.
No, the source of your blissfulness is only one.
Person who's living in the forest of Africa and the
See,
person who's living in a chaotic New York City,
wherever you are,
their source of blissfulness…
wherever you are, the source of both your blissfulness and your misery is the core of your life. It's not from outside. You may be reacting to the outside situations and becoming miserable. Stimulus may be coming from outside, but the source of your experience, both joy and misery, is from within you. It never came from outside of you.
So are we to spend our life just understanding ourselves,
No.
or…
I'm just asking, do you use a phone?
participating in various things in life?
Do you use a phone?
I try not to, but I do.
You do. You have a dumb phone or a smartphone?
Well, they call it smartphone.
Okay,
yeah.
it's a smartphone. So if you get yourself a smartphone, is it true the more you know about it, the better you can use it?
Well, that's true.
Why is that not true with this?
But do you think everybody has the capacity to
Everybody
know
has the
this?
capacity, but the society has directed you in a different way right now. That's what is needed to turn around. If you want well-being for individual human being and if you want well-being for the planet, for both it is needed that a human being knows how to be well by his own nature. Right now, in pursuit of human happiness, we're digging up the whole planet. All in pursuit of human well-being, isn't it?
Well, they say you need a purpose in life, so what should actually be the purpose in life?
Only miserable people look for a purpose. And all these people who think
generally people say that you need to have purpose, you need to be engaged, therefore you find certain meaning in life.
A lot of idiotic things have become popular in the world, all right? People will say they have God-given purpose. God spoke to me. Such people have done the most terrible things on the planet.
So what are we to do, Guruji? What are we meant to do then?
You wouldn't ask this question if you are genuinely blissed out.
Well, I'm pretty happy in my situation, Guruji.
No, you're happy because of your success.
Not only that.
I'm happy for you for that.
Not only that.
But I'm saying, if you are blissed out, what is needed you will do, because your quality of your life is not decided by what you do.
No, but I do agree.
Listen to this one thing.
Yes.
If your quality of your life is not determined by what you do, what would you do? Whatever is needed or whatever you enjoy doing, it doesn't matter, because the quality of your life is not determined by what you do. Right now, for most human beings, the quality of their life is decided by what they do. That is the fundamental mistake. Because the quality of your life should be decided by how you are. That's why you're called a human being. You're supposed to know how to be. If you knew how to be, you would be blissed out naturally. If you're blissed out, your quality of life is not determined by what you're doing or not doing. If you want to do, you can do. If you don't want to do, you can just sit.
But my state of being happiness, Guruji, to be very honest, certain part is dependent on external factors and certain part from within myself. That's how I pursue happiness.
That is true. That's true for everybody. That percentage may vary for different people.
Right.
But everybody, this is true. Certain part because of their own nature, certain part because of what's happening.
So you cannot totally discard the external factor.
You cannot. But I am saying, if you change this equation, that 109, if not 100%, at least 99% it's the way you are, 1% is in the actions that you perform, then the chance of you ever becoming miserable is very remote.
Do we take ourselves much more seriously than we're supposed to, our life?
Of course.
Like we always intend to…
We are not even a speck of dust.
We always intend to think, at least at one point of our life, that why am I here, who am I, what should I be doing? Is that blowing things out of proportion?
See,
because we just come,
in this,
we live, we
cosmos,
die, we go.
In this limitless cosmos, this solar system itself is a tiny speck. In that tiny speck, planet Earth is a microspeck. In that microspeck, Nepal is a super microspeck.
Yeah, but don't you think every speck has a certain value and responsibility?
But in that tiny super microspeck, you are a big man. That's a problem. If other people believe you're a big man, it's their thing. You should not think I'm a big man, because so many people, countless number of people have walked this planet. Great emperors, kings, very smart people, where are they? All topsoil.
They're all dispensable.
So, you and me also will be topsoil one day. I'll bless you with a long life. But we will anyway get there, all right? So, we need to understand the context of our existence. Without knowing the context, if we act, we will act and do foolish things for ourselves and for others. If we understand the context, we are here for a brief period of time. People come and tell me, Sadhguru, this guy is my enemy, I hate him. I said, hey, just wait and he will die. All right.
Or your anger will diminish, or your anger will expire.
If you wait, everybody will die, right?
But don't you think every emotion comes with an expiry date?
Maybe for some people, but some people take it to their death.
But eventually, one time or the other, it does expire.
It all depends whether your emotions are fired because of property or money or religion or what. It all depends what's the reason. Some people, they're angry today and tomorrow they're fine. Another person takes 10 years to get rid of it. Another person takes 10 lifetimes to go through this. So, don't be so assured that people drop their nonsense so easily. Not everybody.
Guruji, enlighten me, where are we today in terms of our environment, soil that you were talking about. You gave us a pretty alarming picture by saying that in less than 15 years' time, that production of the grains will go down by 40%, and the population will increase maybe another 2 billion. More mouths to be fed and less produce to be produced.
Yes. We are once again
So how can this be rectified?
It can be rectified. It doesn't take any rocket science to do this, nor does it take enormous financial outlays to do it. It just takes right direction and a relentless commitment. In the next 8 to 10 years, the whole world's agricultural land could be turned around to raise the organic content at least to a minimum of 3 to 6%, which means it will be rich soil. This can be done, it doesn't take much. Do we have the courage and commitment to do it is the only question. Fortunately, after the Safe Soil movement, the world is responding very, very well. Most nations, large nations have already invested budgets into this and they're making policies. Even China is unfolding a soil policy, they're doing this, and European Union have started a consultative process. Small nations are seeking our support. It's going wonderfully well. 5 months ago, nobody was talking about soil.
Right.
Today, it's becoming an important conversation, soil. So, it's good, but work is not done, it's just begun.
But you're pretty optimistic about this. Because when you started off, you kind of painted a gloomy picture, but…
No, I'm saying the picture is still the same. But can we do it? Definitely we can. We are the last generation who can do it. If we allow another 30-40 years to pass like this, after that, doing it will be extremely difficult. If not impossible, extremely difficult. It will cost a lot of life. Lot of scientists, responsible scientists, are predicting by 2060 to 2075, 20 to 30% of the population can die due to food shortages and water scarcity. Some other scientists are saying up to 60% of the population may die. You don't know this because, let's say in Kathmandu, if 20 to 30% of the population has not eaten anything for last 3 days,
right,
you think they will allow the other 70% to go on with their life?
Of course not.
So, what will happen as a consequence of social upheavals, nobody can predict.
There'll always be conflict amongst people.
They're already predicting by 2035 there'll be dozens of civil wars in the world. 2035 is not too far away, it's right here.
I think if we're able to turn the table around…
It can be turned around.
This is probably going to be the greatest contribution of yours to the humanity.
I don't see it that way. If all human beings stand up, it'll happen.
People must have known this, but you are the guy who rung the bell.
What I see is wherever I went, that bell business, when I spoke to a lot of agriculture ministries, scientists, ministers, some heads of state, everybody knows the problem. Everybody, if not the details, at least they know the general direction of the solution. They were just waiting for an idiot to bell the cat. So here I am.
Sadhguru, it was absolutely a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your time.
सम्बन्धको विकास त्यति बेला सम्भव हुन्छ जब हरेक आफ्नो र आफन्तहरूसँग निर्धक्क अनि खुलेर कुरा हुन्छ, चाहे त्यस्तो कुरा व्यक्तिगत होस् या व्यावसायिक हो। नेपाल टेलिकमको सर्र चल्ने वाइफाई, खर्र जाने बल्क एसएमएस, हुरहुरी चल्ने 4G इन्टरनेट, सलल जोडिने ती CUG नेटवर्क अनि आहा कति रमाइलो एनडीटीभी। बाँकी त सब मनको कुरा न हो।
नेपाल टेलिकम, राष्ट्रको सञ्चार।
Have you ever thought of selling online? Why not set up your own online store where nothing can stop you? Huge investment, product management, delivery management, everything is a myth. Dropshipping Nepal is real. Log into Dropshipping Nepal's website, register your account, choose the products of your liking, and start selling right away. Either build a website or create a social profile for your online store. It's your choice how you want to go online. And yes, when we say selling online, we mean going global and selling products from Nepal to all over the world from the comfort of your home. Finally, when you get an order, place your order on our site and the product will be delivered. Visit our site right now.
Hope International, your education consultant. Remember us for abroad study, IELTS and PTE classes.
अस्ट्रेलिया पढ्न जाने हैन त?
Choose Empire for your higher studies.
What makes a journey more than a journey? Is it the excitement of the where, or is it the love of the how? How you prepare for the obstacles to come in the real world. How you find companions who become your connections for the future. How you learn from those who've made it before you. How you discover new possibilities and discover who you are. How you learn that you will walk further if you love the experience of the journey more than the destination. It's the how that makes a journey into an experience. Come find your how at the British College. The British College. More than a college.
हरेक तिथि हरेक क्षण पञ्चाङ्ग र सूचनाको ताजा संस्करण नेपाली पात्रो विश्वसनीय एप आजै डाउनलोड गर्नुस् है।
अहिले चाहिँ हामी बेंगलोरमा छौँ। यो बेंगलोरको यो इन्टरनेसनल एयरपोर्ट हो। This is Bangalore Airport, right? Bangalore Airport.
बेंगलोर टु कोइम्बटोरको यात्राको लागि हामीसँग गाडी रेडी छ। अब यसै गाडीमा चाहिँ हामी तपाईको चाहिँ कोइम्बटोर जानेछौँ र आज साँझको हाम्रो यात्रा रहनेछ कोइम्बटोरको ईशा आश्रममा र त्यो आश्रममा चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ टक्सको तयारी गर्नेछौँ। सम्पूर्ण क्रू मेम्बर्सदेखि लिएर सबै रेडी भइसकेको छ। अब बिहानै पकाएको चाहिँ ब्रेकफास्ट खाइसकेपछि हामी जाँदैछौँ।
इतिहासमा पहिलोचोटि हो यो कुरा हैन, जुन चाहिँ VFY टक्सले गरेको छ। अब VFY टक्स ग्लोबल्ली जाँदैछ। सुरुवात एउटा राम्रो व्यक्तिबाट भइराखेको छ। म पनि त्यसको एउटा एज अ पार्ट हुन पाउँदा एकदम ब्लेस्ड एन्ड ह्याप्पी फिल गरिरहेको छु।
for some half an hour and there'll still be people.
But Adiyogi is a symbol of the future, basically.
Future in a sense?
He said that, so because it is about spirituality.
Right.
The way, so Sadhguru himself has designed it in the right symmetry. The face is also ambiguous, like, it is because he's Ardhanarishwara, right?
Right. It could be any sex.
Yes,
is it?
yes.
Okay. अघि उहाँले भने जस्तो उहाँ चाहिँ नि भविष्यको प्रतीक हुनुहुन्छ र आदियोगी भन्नाले अब उहाँको लिङ्ग पनि तय भएको छ कुनै पनि हुन्छ पुरुष नारी अनुहार हेर्दाखेरि पनि त्यस्तै छ
हामीले भर्खरै दर्शन गऱ्यौँ हैन त्यो एकदम राम्रो अनि एउटा मिनिङफुल कुराहरू पनि सिकियो जस मैले चाहिँ इसा फाउन्डेसनमा हिजो राति पनि बिताएँ र आज मर्निङ बिहानै 6 बजे उठेर एउटा रमाइलो दृश्यहरू एउटा पिसफुल एरियाको मजा पनि लिए
Dhyanalinga is something that is meant as a live guru. It is said that everyone who comes into touch with it will leave with one drop of spirituality, like a seed of spirituality within them. So the way to be in Dhyanalinga is, it is absolute silence past that point. You will see when you walk inside, there are 6 panels depicting the various stories of Nayanas and various devotees of Shiva. The panels describe who they are.
अहिले चाहिँ हामी ईशा फाउन्डेसनको आश्रममा छौँ यो आश्रममा चाहिँ अबको 1 घण्टापछि हामीले चाहिँ राजेश हमाल दाइ र सद्गुरुको कन्भर्सेसन चाहिँ रेकर्ड गर्दैछौँ एकदमै प्रत्यक्षित कन्भर्सेसन रहनेछ म पनि एकदमै एक्साइटेड छु र त्यो भन्दा पहिले चाहिँ हामीले आज 6-7 घण्टा चाहिँ ईशा फाउन्डेसन भित्र भएको यो आश्रमलाई चाहिँ हामीले परिक्रमा गर्यौँ जसभित्र चाहिँ विभिन्न प्रकारको चाहिँ यहाँ भएका धार्मिक कुराहरू मूर्तिको परिक्रमा लगायत सम्पूर्ण ईशा फाउन्डेसनभित्र भएका सम्पूर्ण कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ अवलोकन गर्यौँ र एकदमै प्रफुल्लित मन भएको छ आज चाहिँ यहाँको बसाइसँगै यो कन्भर्सेसन म आफै पनि यो आश्रममा आइसकेपछि धेरै कुराहरूको बारेमा चाहिँ अध्ययन गर्ने मौका पाएँ धेरै कुरा सिक्ने मौका पाएँ धेरै कुराहरूलाई चाहिँ महसुस गर्ने मौका पाएँ त्यसले वास्तवमा एक किसिमको माइन्डफुलनेस भएको छ एकदमै रिट्रिट फिल भइरहेको छ त्यो चाहिँ यहाँ आइसकेपछि हरेक मान्छेलाई चाहिँ हुँदो रहेछ
नेपाल पर्यटन बोर्डले यो अहिले के भन्छ हाम्रो अब महानायक राजेश हमालज्यूको यहाँ सद्गुरुसँगको यो टक सोमा अब पक्कै पनि अब नेपालको बारेमा हाम्रो प्रमोसनल हाम्रो कुराहरू आउनेछ भन्ने हामीले के भन्छ आश लिएका छौँ यो टक सोले अब के भन्छ निकै नै अब यसले भनौँ न एक किसिमको माइलेज नेपालको पर्यटन प्रवर्धनमा राम्रो माइलेज हुन सक्नेछ र खास गरेर भारतीय र त्यसमा पनि यता हाम्रो साउथ इन्डियातिरका मान्छेहरूको पनि एउटा राम्रो ट्राफिक हाम्रो काठमाडौँ सहितको हाम्रो के भन्छ नेपालका विभिन्न टुरिस्टिक प्लेसमा अवश्य नै डाइभर्ट हुनेछ भन्ने हामीले आशा लिएका छौँ
अझै हामी ईशा आश्रमको यो उसमा छौँ ईशा आश्रमको यो सराउन्डिङमा छौँ हामी अहिले चाहिँ हेर्न सक्नुहुन्छ यहाँको दृश्य एकदमै ब्युटिफुल छ
प्लस एकदमै साइलेन्स पनि छ हैन दशरथ दाइ
एकदमै साइलेन्स हो राज भाइ कुछ बोल्न है क्या
अरे आज सुबह तो इतना अच्छा लग रहा है यहाँ पे and this is a very beautiful place. I think we are here to experience the ashram, and the whole thing about this is it's in a natural setting, and then we are all enjoying the nature, and there's a slight drizzle also which is making it cooler. So I'm glad we are all here, and today in the evening it's your recording is at 5:15.
Wow.
So they confirm the time.
हजुर नमस्ते।
के भन्न चाहनुहुन्छ?
धेरै खुसी लाग्यो हजुर नेपालबाट आउनु भयो हैन। एउटा गर्वको कुरा हो हाम्रो लागि यो।
अनि यहाँको यो महसुस कस्तो भइरहेछ?
मौसम एकदम राम्रो छ सर। एकदमै हाम्रो यो काठमाडौँ जस्तो छ यो। वरिपरि पुरा पहाड हो, बीचमा छ यो ठाउँ। चारो ठाउँबाट पहाडले घेरेको छ यो।
हजुरको फर्स्ट टाइम हो?
नै म आएछु पहिला नि। तर हजुरको टिमबाट चाहिँ पहिलोचोटि हो यो।
अहिले चाहिँ हामी रेकर्डिङ स्थलमा सुटिङको लागि चाहिँ राजेश र सद्गुरुको सुटिङको लागि चाहिँ लोकेसन हेर्न आइरहेको छ। जस्ट फाइन्डिङ द लोकेसन राइट सी।
अहिले एकदमै राम्रो देखिरहेछ यो वातावरण चाहिँ। अपग्रेड रहेछ यहाँको सिस्टम चाहिँ। पहिला सुरुमा हेर्दाखेरि अहिले अर्कै रहेछ र यहाँ आउँदाखेरि फेरि अर्कै। अब यहाँभन्दा अगाडि आउँदाखेरि फेरि अर्कै होला।
How do you feel? Now we are going to take an interview between Rajesh and Sadhguru.
This is, I think, going to be a historic moment where the greatest guru in today's world and the greatest actor in terms of popularity and achievement is Mr. Rajesh Hamal. So it is going to be a great moment where they are going to discuss various things, and I think this is going to help the people at large who are going to watch this program about the conversations, and two intellectual people going to speak to each other. That is, I think, the most important thing, and it's a great achievement. Mr. Dashrath, you have been working hard for this.
Thank you.
You worked very hard. I have been, hearing it from you for so many months. You have been following up to get an appointment with Sadhguru, and the moment has come today.
Yeah.
And it's a proud moment for you and for all Nepalis who are going to witness something really great about the great leader of the world. And Sadhguru is really an amazing person with his knowledge and with his discourses. I'm sure the entire Nepal population is going to benefit from it, and the youth are going to get a message, and people, humanity at large will benefit from this, and I believe. Thank you, Dashrath ji.
Namaskaram.
Am I waiting?
No, it's to see you driving. You always talk about machines and motorcycles.
Anything that works. The good thing about machines is one. This one? This one? This is.
Few minutes today.
Yeah, we came
I said they were with you.
Yeah, we got a few people. Yeah. Rajesh Chowdhury is from Bangalore.
Namaskaram. Tell me what shall we do?
Just go with the flow, I guess.
VFY टक्स ग्लोबल अहिले हामी गरिरहेका छौँ र VFY टक्स ग्लोबलमा पहिलो गेस्टको रूपमा चाहिँ महानायक राजेश हमाल र विश्व प्रख्यात योग गुरु स्पिरिचुअल लिडर सद्गुरु बीच कन्भर्सेसन आज सम्पन्न भएको छ र कन्भर्सेसन ओभरअल चाहिँ हामीले हेर्दाखेरि चाहिँ अत्यन्तै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ कन्भर्सेसन रेकर्ड भएको छ। अहिले हामीले चाहिँ VFY टक्सलाई ग्लोबल्ली लाने भनेर चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ विभिन्न क्षेत्रका एक्सपर्टिजहरुसँग चाहिँ हाम्रो टक शोमा चाहिँ ती एक्सपर्टहरुलाई चाहिँ हामीले लिइरा छौं। तिनीहरुको कुराहरुलाई चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ समावेश गरिरहेका छौं। तिनीहरुको एक्सपिरियन्सलाई चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ हाम्रो क्यामेरामा रेकर्ड गरिरहेका छौं र विश्व प्रसिद्ध व्यक्तित्वहरुलाई चाहिँ कार्यक्रममा बोलाएर चाहिँ हामीले नेपाली युवाहरुलाई चाहिँ कसरी मोटिभेट गर्ने, कसरी जागरण गर्ने, कसरी अझ राम्रो भन्दा राम्रो कन्भर्सेसन चाहिँ टक शोमा ल्याउने भनेर चाहिँ लागिरहेका छौं। अब यद्यपि यो कुरा मैले भनिरहँदाखेरि त्यति सजिलो चाहिँ छैन। जति सजिलो मैले यी कुराहरुलाई चाहिँ भनिरहेको छु, अब ग्लोबल लिडरसँग काम गर्न जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ धेरै प्रकारको चुनौतीहरु, धेरै प्रकारको च्यालेन्जहरु चाहिँ हामीहरुले फेस गर्नुपर्छ। एज अ मिडिया पर्सन, एज अ मिडिया एन्टरप्रेन्योर, प्रोग्राम प्रोड्युसरको हिसाबमा चाहिँ मलाई ती धेरै प्रकारको च्यालेन्जेसहरु चाहिँ महसुस भइरहेको छ। अहिले पनि राजेश दाइ र सद्गुरुको कन्भर्सेसन रेकर्ड गर्नको लागि मैले अलमोस्ट 8-9 मन्थ्स मैले कन्टिन्यू फलोअप गरेको छु। कहिले टाइमको शेड्युल नमिल्ने, कहिले एउटाको टाइमको शेड्युल नमिल्ने, कहिले अर्कोको टाइमको शेड्युल नमिल्ने, हैन, विभिन्न कारणले गर्दा पनि हामीले रेकर्ड गर्यौं, सुटिङ गर्यौं। उहाँकै आश्रममा चाहिँ हामीले रेकर्ड गर्यौं र यो हाम्रो लागि एउटा बिग अचिभमेन्टको कुरा पनि हो। यो सँगै अहिले हामीले चाहिँ अरु ग्लोबल फिगरहरुसँग पनि हामीले चाहिँ काम गर्न खोजिरहेका छौं। अरु ग्लोबल लिडरसँग चाहिँ हामीले चाहिँ टक शोको लागि भनेर चाहिँ अहिले हामी चाहिँ दौडिरहेका छौं। र यो कुराहरु मैले भनिरहँदाखेरि मैले बुझेको कुरा एउटै मात्र के हो भने कहिले पनि सपना देख्न सक्नु पर्दो रहेछ। सपना देख्दै जाँदाखेरि चाहिँ ती सपनाहरुले तपाईलाई जहिले पनि एउटा एनर्जाइज गरिरहन्छ। तपाई प्रति एउटा कन्सियस, तपाईको माइन्डलाई कन्सियस वेबाट चाहिँ तपाईलाई चाहिँ एक्टिभ गराइरहन्छ। जब तपाई सपना नै देख्नुहुन्न, जब तपाई बिगर थिंग्स नै तपाईसँग त्यो हुँदैन भने तपाईले कहिले पनि आफू गर्नुपर्छ भन्ने सोच तपाईमा हुँदैन। त्यसैले अल्टिमेट मैले भन्न खोजेको कुरा चाहिँ के हो भने हामी जहाँ जस्तो अवस्थामा भए पनि एउटा पोजिटिभ वेबाट चाहिँ, सकारात्मक वेबाट चाहिँ तपाईले कुनै पनि कुरा यदि सोच्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईले चाहेका कार्यहरु चाहिँ, तपाईले चाहेका चाहिँ कामहरु चाहिँ पूरा गर्न त्यस्तो समय लाग्दैन। तर त्यसको लागि एक्सरसाइज गर्न जरुरी छ, मेहनत गर्न जरुरी छ। हो, के समय लाग्ला, तर पनि इम्पोसिबल भन्ने कुराहरु छैन। हरेक कुरालाई चाहिँ हामीले एउटा पोजिटिभ वेबाट र हार्ड वर्किङ वेबाट चाहिँ यदि लिने हो भने धेरै कुराहरु चाहिँ यो संसारमा सक्सेस छन्। र मलाई एकदमै खुसी लागेको कुरा के हो भने सद्गुरु र राजेश दाइको कन्भर्सेसन नेपालको लागि एकदमै एपिक कन्भर्सेसन हो। यो पहिलो चोटी यो कन्भर्सेसन कुनै नेपाली टेलिभिजनमा, कुनै नेपाली टेलिभिजन प्रोग्राममा, कुनै युट्युब प्रोग्राममा चाहिँ यो कार्यक्रममा उहाँले आफ्नो समय दिनुभएको छ र यो मेरो लागि समग्र नेपालीहरुको लागि चाहिँ एकदमै खुसीको कुरा हो। र यो भनिरहँदाखेरि चाहिँ मलाई एउटा खुसी अर्को पनि के लागेछ भने एउटा ग्लोबल फिगरले नेपालको बारेमा प्रशंसा गरिरहँदाखेरि नेपालको पर्यटन प्रवर्धन, नेपालको कला संस्कृति साहित्य र नेपालमा अझ पर्यटकहरूलाई कसरी भित्र्याउने भन्ने कुरा पनि नेपालको लागि अत्यन्तै राम्रो रहन्छ।
When intensity peaked, he became utterly still. People saw that he was experiencing dimensions that no one had ever known or able to fathom. His ecstasy and intensity allowed him to transcend his physical form. Witnessing an individual human in union with the cosmos, they called him a yogi, as he was the first one, the Adi Yogi.